Hello and welcome back to Monday night here at Heroes and Hooligans, where we have decided fuck capitalism in America. Let's go to Atharis because things are awesome. We are playing Delirium, our Grim Hollow campaign, season 3, episode 8. One portal closes and another one opens. Our resident father, Daruk, is going to go ahead and do the recap. So let's get that done, good buddy. You're muted.
Last time on Delirium, our party found themselves traversing unsteady walkways across an inky black void below on their way over to a portal with strange elvish runes written on it, far off in the darkness. Some of us took the stairs and the safer paths, whereas some of us went gap jumping across treasure-filled platforms. Before last session began, the only spill taken was Fiora having fallen into treasure and touched a piece, but not taken any with her. During last session, though, 2 more falls were made as Astrid and Scrimmy fell off the edge of the platform, headed to the darkness below. Daruk, with Arthur on his back, continued the charge forward, telling Arthur his friends would be fine. Loki, in a, shall we say, spike of righteous rage and need to save his friends, tied a rope to a crossbow and shot Daruk in the ass with it, which we then used to pull up Scrimmy and Astrid, whose fall had been slowed by the perfect casting of a Featherfall spell by Scrimmy themselves. We then continued our way up towards the portal, and as we approached the final platform, a massive amalgamation of treasure and coin turned into a, I don't know about living, but active being that was in pursuit of us. Daruk tried to force his way through the portal, not pausing to understand the runes written upon it and solve the puzzle, and was electrocuted to near death. The rest of the party made their way to the portal, fighting and evading the creature as they went. Arthur threw up a very perfectly timed mass healing word, just as Loki solved the puzzle and began to take the party's hands, urging them to do the same, and all walking through.
Yeah, the massive amalgamation of coin, as so described, was actually not the coin itself, but a giant rattling like being decked out in all sorts of finery, jewels and jewelry, and gold bands and rings on its tail and such. A creature of greed, so to speak. Yeah, so you did all of those things and you got through the portal, and that's where we left it. As your party steps through the portal into a dimly lit chamber, the air is thick with a heavy silence, punctuated only by the distant echoes of dripping water. The walls around you are adorned with grotesque carvings that seem to writhe and twist in the flickering light of your torches, casting eerie shadows that dance around the room. A strange chill creeps into your bones as you take in the sights before you. In the center of the room stands a swirling portal, its edges shimmering with an otherworldly light that pulses like a heartbeat. Through the haze of the portal, you can make out some vague shapes, figures that seem familiar yet distorted, like memories half remembered. A sense of urgency hangs in the air, and your hearts race as you strain to see beyond the veil. Suddenly, one figure steps forward, emerging from the shadows of the portal. It is Daruk's daughter, her features illuminated by the ethereal glow. She looks older than you remember, but her eyes are still filled with the innocence of youth. She glances back over her shoulder at you, the weight of a decision evident in her expression. Sorry, Dad, she whispers, her voice trembling with regret as she takes a hesitant step towards the portal. The glow intensifies around her, wrapping her in a soft embrace, as the very fabric of the world is calling her home. She can see the faces of her friends just beyond her.
Hey, Hooli, you're underwater right now, audio-wise,
Oh,
I think.
oh.
That's better.
You can hear me better now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's because I had my face turned away from my microphone.
Reading that monologue.
Yeah. What part was the last thing that you heard? You got the sorry, Dad. All right. Sorry, Dad, she whispers, her voice trembling with regret as she takes a hesitant step towards the portal. The slow glow intensifies around her, wrapping her in a soft embrace as if the very fabric of the world is calling her home. You can see the faces of her friends just beyond her, their expressions a mix of impatience and concern, urging her to join them. Pause for a chance for you to speak. That's what I did.
Okay, I wasn't sure if we had lost you again or something. Sorry.
Nope. Sorry, I have my camera off, so sorry about that.
Daruk is full running forward to grab her arm. Edith, no! Edith, we have to go back. Your father, he needs you. I need you.
So you run towards her and you try to stop her. You try to get to her.
Yes.
You holler out, "Don't go!" You know, your voice cutting through the silence, desperation clawing at your throat. She merely offers you a sad smile, a fleeting glimpse of the daughter you once knew, before she turns back to the portal. She steps through, a final shimmer enveloping her with a soft gasp. She disappears into the swirling light, leaving behind only a lingering echo of her farewell. In that stillness that follows, that moment of what just happened, the atmosphere sort of shifts. The portal flickers and dims, and from the shadows emerges a figure. A man impeccably dressed in a tailored finery that seems to absorb the light around him. His face obscured, shrouded in deep shadow that masks his features, yet his presence is suffocating, as if he were a storm contained within a calm facade. Ah, what a shame, he speaks, his voice smooth and dripping with disconcerting charm. So close, yet so far. Such delicate threads of fate unraveling before our very eyes. But he takes a step forward and the air around him grows colder. You can feel a palpable tension in the room. The room feels changed with unseen energy, the shadows deepening, and you realize the true horror of this place is not the loss of Daruk's daughter, but the sinister game that has only just begun. Pause for dramatic effect.
Where are we?
It seems to be just a dark room. It's not lit at all. The only light in this room is from your torches, but it's where you came out the other side of the portal at.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to climb down off Daruk. Keep it together. This looks serious.
She left.
I do, and we can keep following her. But if you lose focus, then we're going to lose our way.
We just walked through the portal less than, within the turn.
Yeah, essentially so.
All right, then my divine sense would still be active from last turn. Am I sensing any celestial fiend, fey, or undead?
Maybe. You might be. You probably are. But you're pretty distraught. So, is it your emotions or is it your magic?
Who are you?
Oh, yeah. You were probably wondering. But in due time, in due time.
Time has come. The priest asked you a question.
What do you want?
Oh, I got what I came for. So I don't necessarily want any. Well, I do want things, always want things, but I didn't want anything from you.
What did you want?
I wanted to
Daruk
help.
staggering back to his feet, leaning on the staff.
What I wanted was to come and help a girl and her friends get to safety, and I have done just that.
Oh yeah, and where's that?
Not here.
Where did you send my daughter?
Out into the world to spread her wings and fly.
Where? And Daruk is taking steps towards him. To be clear, Daruk is, I think, the most injured anyone here's seen him, clinging to life by the barest of threads, staggering both hands on the staff, using it fully as a walking cane.
I'm gonna grab the back of Daruk's sleeve and just. I couldn't if I tried, but I'm going to just try and impress that he shouldn't do this now.
You see he stops just at the point where the sleeve has, like, the fabric of the sleeve is stretching, where you are not moved and he is not pulling away from you, but he is not giving that tension up either.
We're all exhausted. I don't think this is the time.
She was right here, Arthur. I almost had her in my hands, and she went. She left.
I know. Look, we're gonna find her.
I look to the portal she walked through. Is it still there?
No, when they went through, it dimmed and disappeared.
You reopened that damn gate.
You see, she has made a choice of her own. A decision that led her to step through that portal with her friends, leaving you behind. He gestures towards where the fading portal was, the remnants of its glow casting an eerie light across your face. In her desperation to save them, she struck a bargain with me. A deal to ensure their safe passage, to offer them a way out of the horrors that have plagued this cursed place. And in doing so, she made a sacrifice that now binds her to me. And his smile sort of widens at you, revealing teeth that glisten like polished ivory. You can't really see any of his face, but as he smiles, you see the brightness of his teeth. But fear not, for I am not without generosity. I can offer you a way to reclaim her if you're willing to pay the price.
What price?
One second here. Don, check your messages really quick.
2.
In the meantime, can I do a religion check on this thing?
Oh, absolutely.
We had discussed that due to my ancestry, we were replacing my Elvish language with, I think it was I don't know if you told me
Was it? I
Singular
think it was
Infernal would fit
Infernal.
better.
I think it
Okay.
was
I was
Infernal,
going
I
to say,
thought.
you've mentioned Infernal before, Don.
Okay, that's what I thought. So in Infernal, Fior is going to say, you made a deal with a child who didn't understand the ramifications of what she was agreeing to. You broke the rules.
No, I'm pretty sure Gran's an adult, right? She's a legal adult.
Grand's like 40.
Yeah. Oh, my bad.
Yeah. Yeah. No, again, this is a symptom of Daruk is centuries old.
Yeah.
No, Grand was actually a full adult by the time Daruk adopted her. Like
that makes a whole lot. This entire story arc makes so much more sense now because I was definitely picturing like a 6-year-old daughter that was like, "I'm gonna go into the burning tower."
Grand was like 20 when she got adopted 20 years ago.
So
just like how that's why Daruk was like, "No, Arthur, it's okay that you're 35. I can adopt you."
Then instead, Fior is gonna say, "Speak plainly. We ain't here to bargain with you. We ain't got time for that."
I mean, I can grant you the knowledge, and he'll speak back to you in Infernal. I can grant you the knowledge to follow her and uncover the terms of her bargain, perhaps even break the chains that now bind her to me and my realm. I think that's pretty plain. Imagine it. With my guidance, you could trace the threads of her deal, navigate the labyrinth of contracts that bind her to me, and confront the very forces that threaten to keep her from returning. You could save her not just from the darkness, but from the consequences of her own choices.
Or you could make a new deal with me. Release her from her bargain,
what
and I'll
do you
take her
propose,
place.
little firebug? Oh, a soul for a soul, you say?
And if you're looking at me, I think you can tell that my soul's probably a bit more valuable.
And he does look at you. And it kind of is like a heavy weight grows in the room, and the shadows kind of swirl as if they're alive, wrapping around you, kind of like tightening around you like a rope. Not of the butt variety, but rope nonetheless. He says, but remember, every gift comes with a cost. I may seek favors that require sacrifices of your own. Perhaps an act of defiance, a challenge to your morals, or a task that serves my interests in this wretched realm.
If it'll put their family back together, I'm willing to pay it. Just name your price.
You're a no.
Oh, this is an Infernal. Do you understand me? It wouldn't surprise me.
Ogre speaks 5 fucking languages.
That's fair. Then Fiora is going to turn at you, and she is angry at you and says, Daruk, you came here to reunite your family, and if you do something, your family's not whole.
Don't take an open-ended pact as a solution to a temporary problem.
So, before I agree to anything, I'd like to know who I'm making a deal with and what you want me to do.
He will step into the light, and he is an extremely attractive man. He appears human. He's dressed in a nice suit, crisp, white pressed shirt underneath, black tie. He's got some ruby red cufflinks on his suit jacket, and he's got black hair. It's kind of swooped to the side in that fantastical, handsome lover boy type of way. You know what I'm talking about? That businessman swoop sort of thing. He's got all that. He's very handsome. He's deliciously handsome, if you ask me. But he does a little bow, and he says, I am Venom.
You stink of the netherworld.
You stink of unresolved trauma. You should get that looked at.
It'd be a lot easier if people weren't stopping it from happening.
He'll hold out his hand to you, Fiora, and you can roll a perception check when he holds out his hand. Anybody really can if you want to.
Most definitely. If it
I know
wants to
Loki's
roll.
like overly
Yeah.
observant.
Yeah, passive 24, roll a 21.
Hey,
Yeah,
That's
so
a 3.
anybody who has natural dark vision and rolls above a 16 will see when he holds his hand out, there's a tattoo on the palm of his hand, and it's in color. It's not black and white. It looks like an eye with these very like long, pointed, exaggerated eyelashes. It's a purple eye with like a red center, and it's got 2 drops of blood dripping from the eye.
Can I make a religion check on that symbol?
You could.
$15.
You recognize it as a symbol of one of the archdemons, but not quite exactly which one.
All right, Venom. And before I shake your hand and agree to something, you're going to tell me what I'm agreeing to.
A soul for a soul. Instead of the wonderful young lady being a minion of mine, it would be, well, a more firebug young lady being a minion of mine, so to speak.
Fiora, darling, don't take the deal. We know
realize
something Venom. We know something Venom doesn't. My daughter's Fae. The soul's not her own. It's the Hag Mother's.
You'd be surprised on what becomes mine with binding contracts.
Wait, I'm confused. I thought your daughter's soul, she was missing. I thought she was supposed to be looking for her. Is that this daughter?
This is the daughter that there's the Weaver who we made with the pact
Hi.
with. I didn't know whether my daughter was dead on the Prime, which would have brought her to the Feywild under the control of the Hag Mother who made her.
Okay. He
For
seems
a little
pretty
peek behind the
confident.
screen, that's the Fey transformation effect
Yeah.
of you die, you go there.
Yeah. But it didn't look like she died, Daruk.
No. But I don't know who I'd back in a fight over a soul of the Hag Mother or an Arc Daemon.
I'll agree to your terms if you tell me who you work for.
He laughs like a deep, hearty belly laugh. My darling, the gods are gone. I work for myself.
Venom is one of the chief principalities.
Correct.
It's all right.
Venom is like an Asmodeus-esque.
Yeah.
Asmodeus.
Daruk, it's your daughter. I'm willing to make this trade,
It's your
but if
soul.
we don't take it, there's no path to follow, Daruk. That portal's not opening and you don't know where to go from there.
We need to leave this place.
It is not my soul. It is not my decision to make. If my daughter means so much to you that you are willing to give of yourself, then do so.
Daruk, that very logic applies to her. We can't have Fiora take the place of a deal that they weren't even here to make. There's a reason
We don't
your
need
daughter
her
went
to.
through. It doesn't matter.
When you say I'd be your minion, I can still travel with my friends, and you just might have me do things. Is that right? That's how it usually
Correct.
works.
You can operate as of your own free will a majority of the time. Occasionally, I might just give you a little ring on your fancy talking stone and say, hey, I need you to do this thing for me. No big deal.
Then if you'll bring her back here and let us all go home freely, I agree.
Well, I won't bring her back here. I'm sure she's happy at her home where she is now, but obviously I'm telling you where she is. I'll send you straight to her, and she'll have her own control of her soul back.
Fiora grabs his hand.
And he looks at you like making sure you are wanting to accept this. You're accepting my offer on your own free will to delve to the depths of darkness and rescue her from the consequences of her own actions. And he's like clarifying 100%. Yeah, so you shake his hand and you feel a sort of burning in your palm. And it's not like a shit, my hand's on fire type of burning, but it's definitely an uncomfortable feeling. And when he lets go of your hand, you have that same symbol of his now branded on your palm. And you have now very first number 1 level of fiend transformation.
And we're teleported.
Yeah, you're teleported straight to Daruk's house.
Seems fair.
Par for the course.
Is it gone?
Outside, not inside. You're out in front of the house there.
I'll flare another divine sense to make sure he didn't come with us.
No, you don't. You get, you actually do detect fiend.
Coming from Fiora?
Yep.
Do I detect Fae inside the house?
Yep.
Do I detect Celestial inside the house still?
Yep.
Door's busted down.
Again.
Yeah, and you bust down the door, and both your husband and your kid are sleeping comfortably in their beds.
Not for long, she ain't. Daruk barges into the room. Get up!
And she wakes up sort of dreary and confused. No memory of the events leading or after entering the belfry with her search party.
Why would you do this?
You're supposed to
stay out. You were supposed to stay out in your hut, making little deals to help people's lives and be safe.
But Nori's brother was lost in the belfry, so we went to go find him. I couldn't say no to my friends.
You should have. Your father hasn't eaten in weeks until I was home. I didn't even know where you were going. until I got the last message from his rats on my way to the fucking prison.
I wasn't gone very long.
You
we
were
just went in
gone.
this morning.
You were gone for a month.
Oh, well, it just feels like we went in this morning. She looks dazed and confused.
Sleep. I'll talk in the morning.
She'll give you a hug and then go back to her bed. And she's asleep very quickly, clearly exhausted mentally and physically.
Daruk walks back out of her door and shuts it behind him and just slumps to the floor back against it. I can't even fucking scold her for what she did. She doesn't even remember. She gave away her fucking soul again, and she doesn't remember.
She's safe. That's something. This was a
She's safe and she's not gonna fucking learn. It's going to... She's just like her father. And I fling the hand with the mark of the Weaver up in the air.
well, nothing to do about bad genes. I can vouch for that. Count your blessings, Daruk. Your daughter's alive. This could have ended a lot worse. Now we have to figure out what to do with your dumbass, Fiora.
Yes, quite dumb.
This is not going to end well for us. Morael is clearly not watching over me. I have nothing to offer to help. I have no idea how this is going to end.
It'll end at the end of the path I was always going to take. I have my own information I need to get, and this may be a way for me to get it. So if I can put a family back together on the way, so be it.
Morael would be proud of Fiora for the sacrifice she made, would he not?
I shudder to think about the sacrifices ahead, and I pray that Fiora and the rest of us can bear the cost. I need to visit a temple. Can I meet up with you later?
If you want, I can show you to the temple. I know where it is.
Come with me.
Either,
Fiora, I might have something a little more Arthur's speed than a Lysec
That
temple.
works. Aye, that works.
Plus, you're technically a demon now. I don't think you might burst into flames upon stepping
I
into it.
wouldn't have gone in. I can point it out to him.
I'm going to take Arthur and lead him back to the little Aurelian shrine that Gabriel and I have built here on the property.
Yeah, absolutely.
Morael's an aspect of hers. Morael's an aspect of hers, yes?
a true piece of her. One of the only seraphs that actually contain a piece of the god they represent. Yes.
Shrine blessed by the former seraph of love for little things ought to suit your purpose as well. And I'm going to sit for Arthur's prayers and service, respectfully. Actually, I think Daruk has spent a lot of time letting Arthur do prayers and service at him. I think this is the first time Daruk is actively engaged and listening and trying to learn, because this is something to do to distract.
I think Daruk would be disappointed, to be honest, because if Arthur sees Daruk there expecting a sermon, he might give a few minutes of something half-hearted, but he kind of keeps losing his place and trailing off, and eventually sort of just turns to face whatever the center point, altar, dais, whatever that would be, and is just kind of silently praying.
I think it's a little bird and squirrel feeder is the center point.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I think he turns to that and just kneels and bows his head and prays, and you get the idea that he is, at the moment, more in need of looking for answers than trying to teach them.
They can pray together.
What do the rest of you do when Arthur and Daruk go off? Scrimmy, Loki, you guys have been pretty quiet tonight.
Scrimmy is still pretty hurt. He's not like dying. So I think he'd probably just be trying to rest up as much as possible. Probably head over to the pig's tit to get a brew and kind of just relax.
Okay.
And probably just work on some spells so that next time we get attacked, I have some potions.
Yeah, and pardon me. I believe you do have some healing potions and at least one potion of long rest, if I am not mistaken.
I
in your
don't
party
think I have.
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, like collectively, you have a handful of potions, and I
We
believe a potion of long rest.
We haven't used any of the long rest potions or anything, and I think we have 3 or 4 regular healing potions left.
Yeah,
We had
something
6,
like
and
that.
we used 2 last session.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Fiora bought a couple as well.
Okay.
So you should.
Yeah, we
have
definitely
a
grabbed
handful.
some before we went in.
I got
Yeah.
my special potions, guys. Remember, I'm a plague doctor.
I don't see how that's going to help the absolutely destroyed shoulder that Celine has, which is what we should be taking care of alongside of all of ourselves, and checking to see that we're not a month in advance from where we were now. If when Edith went in, she thought a month had passed, and we went in. I mean, what time is it even? Is the sun out?
Point.
Yeah, it's like early morning. You went in kind of evening time. It's like early morning. And if you're going back to the pig's tit, you realize it's just the next morning. No amount of time has passed for you.
Yeah,
aside
Loki,
from,
Loki's objective is getting us fixed up, primarily Celine, because they're like genuinely torn up, and anyone else who isn't going to stand around at the residence to check in, see what's happening at the Belfry, and all of us need rest. So getting anything requisitioned with our people that we need for it.
Yeah. So you come back, it's the morning. The wardens that were there are there still. They greet you in the morning. They're happy to see you. They let you know that the fire is now fully out. All of the known remaining living people that were inside are accounted for, and all of the bodies that they knew of were accounted for. So anybody that's gone in, whether they lived through it or didn't, is all accounted for. So all of that stuff is taken care of, and the Belfry is finally not burning anymore.
Thank God.
How late do you think Arthur stays? How long do you think Arthur is there praying?
If I'm not immediately needed, I think I was going to do a good couple hours, like
Cool.
5 or 6.
Yeah, I think Daruk is even in this. Like, I think Daruk is like is doing their best to fight drifting off to rest as they listen, because they normally listen to Gabe's sermons and Gabe's asleep. Gabe might not even know that Edith's home.
Yeah, I think at one point Arthur would say, "You're welcome to. You don't have to be here, Daruk. It's
Arthur. It's not for you that I'm here. It's for me."
okay."
If you want to do any sacrificial rituals, there's tools. If you lift up the concrete on top of the altar,
I'm not doing any rituals tonight, Daruk. I'm searching. The man who taught me Moriel's faith and how to properly administer it was a bastard and a fraud. And I'm figuring out a lot of this as I go along. Our encounter in the Belfry taught me that I don't understand as well as I'd like to think I do.
Arthur, if there is one thing my husband has taught me about Aurelia's love, and by extension, I would assume Moriel's, the gods and the angels do not care how your love works out. They just care how you're trying to do it. If that makes sense. The intent to do good matters. And even Fiora, with her deal, said there were secondary reasons, but the reason she chose to do it there was because it could help someone. And that's the type of love.
I don't disagree with Fiora's choice. I think it was noble. But if we're going to be going up against something like that, we can't do it alone. We need them watching over us, and we need all eyes on us. And I am not the vessel to make that happen. I need to become that vessel.
Perhaps you should talk to Gabriel. I do believe he mentioned meeting Moriel a time or two before the fall.
That's a wild thing to say in passing. Yeah, I would
When
love
you're when you marry the fallen angel.
Yeah, then that sounds like I would love to talk to Gabriel, but in the morning I wouldn't wake him.
Sun should be up in a few better hours. Why don't we keep going with the sermon? I'm going to get up and start saying the few half-remembered Aurelian prayers that I have from listening to Gabe pray.
If we're praying together, at this point Arthur would open his holy book that he channels all of his magic through and would be reading from that. And if you're really, paying attention and listening, if you're
give you a religion check about it?
Yeah, I guess so. How familiar would you say Daruk is with Aurelian religion and by extension, Moraelian?
I think Daruk is most, out of religions, the one he's most familiar with is Aurelian, but it is still not a super high level of awareness. It's, these are the things. It's that first person perspective of being a not modern Catholic versus, my Uncle Peter, the apostle.
Okay.
Or actually, my husband Peter, the apostle, was telling me the other day.
Then yeah, can I ask you for a religion check? Is that against the rules? Is Huli gonna?
No, you can certainly do that.
15.
Unless you're guiding me on that.
Definitely not guiding you. With the 15, I think that at first and on the surface, it sounds like something you would imagine out of the Codex Sacrificio, Moriel's kind of holy text. And every now and then, you kind of hear something that just pricks your ears up. It's almost like when the message of a sermon is given, once you get to the, punchline, so to speak, the point where the moral is conveyed. It almost sounds like it's said in a backhanded way that it's almost trying to convey more than one meaning. And the end point of every sermon almost goes against 90% of what was said earlier. Might not be enough to really seem too strange to you, but it definitely would be a little abnormal from what you're used to hearing.
Let me see if I'm catching the right. Let me tell you the vibe that I think Daruk's getting, and you tell me if I'm right. Everything is about giving of oneself for love and for others, and then at the end, and the sermon wraps up with you must give of like your morals, you must give of the things that you cling to in order to be the greatest good you can, kind of thing.
Yeah, and then every now and then, like there'll be a piece of a sermon where it almost sounds like is he actually glorifying self-preservation? Is there something in there about
you must
those principles to
like
get what you want?
the greatest sacrifice is to keep oneself whole against the world.
Right, yeah, things like that just kind of like peppered in that almost just kind of fly in the face of the rest of the sermon. Absolutely.
All right.
And yeah, we would pray on into the night.
And as we finish up our prayer, I turn to Arthur. Yes, I think speaking to Gabriel would be quite good for you.
I think so too, but maybe we should.
Why don't we? Well, you don't sleep, but why don't we go get an hour's rest at least?
Yeah, I could rest.
I've got an extra set of cots that we can set up in the kitchen.
Yeah, sure. I don't really need it. I'll just kind of hang around, but
It'll be nice to not have the weight on your joints, I suppose. Won't it?
You could put Arthur on a bookshelf and he'd be just fine.
What are you talking about? Wood holding wood that contains wood? That's Arthur's like nightmare.
No, yeah, Arthur would accept the cot.
Just keep him
Yeah,
away
so
from
you
the
do
top.
that. You go in and you get a sleep space together, and you get a little bit of a rest. Enough to take a quick rest so you could expend hit die, but not a short rest where you get any of your short rest features back.
I'm
the rest
definitely
of you,
going to expend some hit die.
yeah, go for it. Yeah, you can do short rest with an hour at least. You need it for not a short rest, a quick rest. The rest of you, like I said, the wardens check in with you. They let you know everything is good and taken care of, and that they're scheduling reconstruction of the belfry to start the following Monday, so everybody can have the weekend to relax. They're going to leave a small amount of wardens here. Basically, the grunts are all staying, and the officers are going back, and they're going to help with construction and kind of overwatch over Lysec for a little bit while the belfry's being rebuilt and so on. So everything seems to be in order for you.
Oh, fucking.
All right. Rest it is then. We've done our job.
Yeah, and you
someone remind me, rules on rests is you regain half of your hit die to spend on a long rest. Not you can only spend half your hit die to recover.
Correct.
Once.
You can spend all your hit dice. You just get half of what you spent back.
Yeah.
So it's diminishing return. If you spend all of them, you'll get half of it back the first night. Then you'll get half the night. Like you'll get back to full, but it's diminishing returns.
That's what I thought. Okay. Yeah, I'm spending all of them. Daruk needs the health.
Yeah, feel that.
You're broken boy at the minute. Speaking of which, what do I need to heal my shoulder?
50 plus.
that is a permanent wound. Your shoulder is a grievous wound. I mean, in that with the opportunity to become permanent. My apologies. You have
Daruk took an hour nap and got 77 hit points back.
God, that's a great fucking nap.
The wake up
That's the nap I need in my life.
Yeah.
Don't forget, by the way, to go ahead and change your HP because the aid would have worn off by now.
Yeah, aid was only 8 hours long.
I always put that in my temp HP anyways.
Your wound is essentially you can't hold objects in your arm, and you can't do anything that requires two-handed. It's going to take several long rests to heal it, and or some magnificent feat of healing, like a greater sort of restoration type of thing as well. If you don't heal it within, I would say, 3 long rest, if it's not fixed completely, it will become a permanent wound.
Are there any wardens here that can cast Greater Restoration?
Absolutely
Not
not.
I didn't think so. Is there any bandages I can use to just wrap it and keep it in place?
Yeah, you could definitely do like an ace bandage wrap. I think somebody aside from Arthur, one of your other party mates, has a healer's kit, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, probably not
And
me.
you could definitely fashion, like, you could cut up your extra set of clothes and fashion yourself a sling to hold it up, so it's not just kind of hanging there, putting extra stress on the muscles and joints. You've got essentially a torn rotator cuff that, if it's not fixed, it's going to be much worse.
With the pandemic in town, do we think that Lysek has somebody here in the city we could seek out that could fix her up?
If you're willing to go into the area of town where the plague is rampant and there's still no cure, you could certainly look.
I'll do that.
Well,
I
you
also-
can do it when you get there.
Yeah.
I think it's worth that might be above the table. Never mind.
But there are ways. It's just not a thing that can be done. Oh yeah, just cast this little healing spell and it's fixed, sort of thing.
But I mean, a healing spell would help it progress faster, correct? Like a cure wounds or something.
It won't help the injury. No, it'll just help your overall health. You could have max health and still have this wound.
All right, well that's fine. I think I'm just gonna attempt to put it in a sling, even though I probably have no idea how to.
No, let me. Good Lord, you're gonna hurt yourself again.
Trying to set it up with the injured shoulder.
Yeah, just how the hell do I do this?
You hear it pop out of place as they try to get it into the sling. Ugh.
It does that from time to time.
I've got you.
And looking at what Greater Restoration actually does, it's not going to mend your arm right away anyways. It removes charmed or petrified, a curse, including the attunement to a cursed item, anything that reduces your ability score, or effect reducing your hit point maximum. So you might need something a little stronger than a Greater Resto, but there is expensive, high-level magical means that you could seek out to fix it, of course.
I'm probably just gonna keep it in the sling and just let it heal by itself. I'll brave it. I just need a new weapon then.
But it's not a terrible idea to try to go to the plagued quarter of Lysek to see if there's anybody there that knows any magic. You could do that, of course.
Yeah, Arthur's been interested in going there anyway, so when we all meet up later, if that is what you want to do, let me know. If not, no worries.
I feel like if anyone goes, it should be at best you, Astrid, and Scrim. I don't think Loki, me, or Daruk should step foot in the plague area.
Yeah, I'm not immune, but I'm definitely resistant to diseases and stuff.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I assume most of you are immune or resistant, so
Yeah, I don't get sick.
Yeah, I'll go put some time in at the library and take a look at some of the alchemist notes we got and see if we can make anything happen there.
For once, I will follow him because this isn't Celine.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, has everybody noticed it's Astrid and not Celine? I know Loki
I
did
think-
for sure.
Yeah, Loki definitely did because he's an observant little shit. But
I assume
I don't
Fiora
know.
did because of previous interactions with Astrid.
I mean, the only really noticeable difference is that her hair went from black to red. So
Mhm.
it's whether or not people were actually paying attention to her instead of Daruk.
That's fair enough.
I don't think.
Oh, Fiora didn't even follow Daruk inside. That was family stuff.
Speaking of which, now that it's the next day, are we all together again, or are Daruk and I still at his house and the rest of you are at the tit?
It was early morning when you got to Daruk's,
okay.
so I assume that you guys will be eventually meeting up. Everybody kind of had the opportunity to rest a little bit and get a quick rest in if the entire party wanted to use hit dice or healing spells or anything like that. You got your quick rest. So everybody's got at least an hour of sleep in on top of, I know Loki for sure had other things that he wanted done. I think sleep wasn't something he was overly concerned with. So after all of those things are taken care of, you're definitely at a point where you can reconvene Daruk and Arthur, certainly.
I do just want to check, are we using the Grim Hollow Grievous Wound system?
Yes, and a little bit of a different sort of thing, but partly Grim Hollow, yeah.
Okay. Just curious because the healing is much less arduous for that. That's why I was wondering.
Yeah. This is just a little bit different. This is the consequences of the natural one that Celine had gotten during the whole trying to save. Somebody got a natural one, and that was the consequence. Was the in the middle of the road between a standard Grievous and a full permanent wound. It's in the middle there.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, everybody can come back together.
Definitely
say
making a
it's
note to go
probably
talk.
Around 10 a.m. by time everybody gets back together and has had some time to rest up a little and so on.
I'll make
My
a note to
potion
come
definitely
talk to
would have
Gabriel.
worn off by then.
Do what, Celine? I'm sorry.
I said my potion definitely wore off by then. I'm
Oh,
no
yeah,
longer
yeah, your
huge.
potion's-
Oh, God.
Your potion's worn off for sure. And you're not raging anymore, so you're just normal size.
Yeah.
So
So what's
Go
the
ahead.
plan from here, guys?
I'm
Well,
gonna
we
go
would-
try and find a doctor for that fucking mess. Your hair's different, by the way.
It's not
I
just
don't know
my
what it-
hair, Arthur.
You sound kind of different too. What's going on with
We
you?
met briefly, remember? This was in the Feywild.
Oh, that wasn't a part of that whole trippy experience. That was just a real thing that's going to happen from time to time.
I was also on that boat. Astrid, was it?
Yes.
I didn't think you were real. Respectfully.
Glad to
Yeah,
see
no, I
you've
was
gotten
glad.
out of the cage for a bit.
It's not exactly a cage right now. Selena's resting.
Still curious you've shown up shortly after we've run into a greater extra plane of being twice in a row.
Well, it's in line with this change in planes. Surely that has something to do with it.
The specifics
Not
to our
disagreeing.
connection are
Just curious.
confusing even to me. So perhaps portal travel or dimension travel is the cause. Right now, it seems you're stuck with me.
Last time you did seem to be back. Celine seemed to be back when we got back, so. But it does seem like a common trigger.
So
Well-
you're trapped in Celine most of the time? Sorry, that went right over my head back in the Feywild.
Essentially, yes.
I don't think it was mentioned to us directly.
Good.
I think that's correct. I think it's something Fiora discovered when reading Celine's
Yes.
mind.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
trapped, captive, co-inhabitor, renting out some of the lake space. That body still has a destroyed shoulder that we need to get remedied. I'm going to go do some research on alchemical and more medicinal-based answers. If the three of you want to go take a look in the plague district.
I've got a couple things I can look into, but we should try to take it easy for a few days. I assume in a few days we're gonna head out, yeah?
Fuck, I
It's
hope so.
up to the bosses, isn't it?
So we should try to avoid, like strenuous
Oh my
things, probably.
god. This was our second mission?
I
God. It feels like we've been here for months.
just think, second mission, and in 2 missions, one of us made a deal with a Fae and another with an Archdemon. I wonder what the next one
Which
has
is
in
weird
store.
that it's happened twice and we're so gung-ho about cutting deals with greater beings.
Yeah,
Hey.
yeah.
To be
It
fair,
was fun for
to be
me.
fair.
It was fun for me, okay?
the first time 2 of us made a deal with a Fae.
Aye, that's true.
Excuse me, we're 50 for 50 on people exchanging their souls for a little cool sparkly magic out of their
My
hands.
soul is
Now-
just fine, thank you.
Well, you know
I
what?
don't
While
feel
we're-
any different.
While we're
Yeah.
all here,
Yet.
why don't we just make a group ruling on this now? We can take a vote. I propose. Call me
Everyone
fucking
gets
crazy. No. Steve. I propose we all hang on to our own fucking souls from here on out. Can we make a blanket agreement? If you haven't already sold or promised your soul, we're gonna
Arthur,
hang on
isn't
to
your
it.
soul promised to a celestial being?
My soul was never mine to begin with. That's totally apples and oranges.
To be fair, I think Celine Astrid might have too.
All right. Does anyone here have full
I have no
ownership?
issue. I have no issue. I have full ownership of my soul.
Okay.
I
So
should.
I just owe a fairy some dream leaf.
So I guess just you two then. No leasing, renting, financing, or any
Well,
other
now you changed the
reverse
rules. Before you
mortgage.
said only people who already had full ownership of their soul, which meant we were free to sell our souls again.
You know what? Forget it. Forget I said anything.
This conversation
I
went
think what he's
absolutely
trying
nowhere.
to say is that before we make any deals in the future, we speak to each other.
Can I refinance my soul?
I don't
Your
know.
APR, your
Probably,
APR is
they're out here-
definitely going to
Fiora
be
and I
better
spoke
after a
to each
couple
other
down
before.
payments.
Fiora and I spoke to each other before she sold her soul. I told her I thought it was a bad idea, but if she
Yeah.
wanted to do it anyway, I was fine with it.
You know what? Let's do it. Let's sell our souls. Forget about it. They're
I'll,
overrated.
me
I'll
ask
keep,
you all
I'll
this.
keep my soul right where it is. Thank you.
People
Let
out
me
here.
put it this way for you. I appreciate the conversation, Arthur, and I don't think it's bad. But the way I see it is, that demon had a soul one way or another. It was either mine or Daruk's daughter. And I trust myself to be able to handle whatever he does to it.
No, yeah, and again, like I told Daruk earlier, it was a noble thing you did. It was a sacrifice. Moriel would be pleased. That's great. I'm just saying, given what Loki brought up about how we are 2 for 2 on losing souls.
3 for 2.
3 for 2.
No, 2
Thank
for
you.
2. 2.5 for 2.
1.5,
We're-
150% of the time,
We're
we give away our souls when we
we're
meet a
over
greater
quota
being.
for souls. Is my point. So maybe we'll just try and pump the brakes just a touch on the soul selling. I know things are out here making deals and contracts, wheeling and dealing like it's going out of style.
Can we drop it to like firstborns or secondborns? I think, like, at least that's like not here yet in metaphysical, right?
Yeah,
I think it's less moral to make deals based on your children's souls than your own.
All right, now we're all a bunch of fucking lawyers. Not when we're making the deal. Now that we're talking
We're
about
getting
it,
into
now
the
the legalese
philosophy of
comes
this.
out. All right. I'm gonna go search the quarantine area.
Now, if you make a deal for your firstborn and you never have a
All right.
biological
see you
child,
all. See you all
Break.
later.
Break.
I think Daruk, even as everyone breaks and walks away, is just there lecturing on the intricacy of how to make deals with the Fae.
So,
This is a 10-year-old lecture series that he gave to his daughter after she recovered from her Fey trauma. And he's like, I was so ready to give this to her last night, and she didn't remember what happened with the fiend, so I couldn't. The rant is happening now. To my friend instead.
Also, if an extra planet entity wants your firstborn, just have sex with them. Done.
Oh. That was so
never said I had to be-
it was like it was
Yo,
from
That's
experience.
creative thought, Astrid.
Well,
I
yeah,
prefer
that was
I
much
prefer my
misleading, to
method.
be fair.
I prefer my method of not giving an extra plane or being my firstborn. Homosexuality.
That is also
Jesus
quite
Christ.
an
Yet
ingenious
you have a daughter.
idea.
Yes, and she was not born to me. She's adopted.
Oh, you know,
Fair
you could just
enough.
become a crazy old cat lady.
Arthur is blocks away. Just for
Arthur is God.
And
Is
in-
anybody
Arthur's at the gates to the
Yeah.
to the quarantine zone. By the time I don't know if Scrib's with him, but by the time Astrid looks up from talking to Daruk, I think, you know, I like you much better than I like Celine. I can have a conversation with you without you cursing at me.
Go fuck yourself.
And there it is.
We may share a body, but our souls are intertwined. As much as she doesn't really show it, she does have my nuances.
So
I have
Arthur,
things to say that I will keep to myself.
Arthur went to the plague zone. Who went with Arthur? Scrim, did you go?
Yeah.
Okay, so Scrimmy and Arthur are going to Plague City, not to be confused with Party City, but you can still get some pretty interesting gifts in both places. Loki, I know you're going to the library. I think Astrid said she was going with you for sure. So what does that leave Daruk and Fiora doing? And they're alone together for the first time since Fiora was big shit mad at Daruk. So where does that leave the two of you? What do you punch each other in the face and go opposite directions, or
Fiora, I have a lot of rage and know when to direct it at. Right now.
I mean, I have
You
some
want to
business
get-
I was
you
going to
want-
go gather some information on, but I don't think you want to be involved in that business from our last conversation about it.
Would it involve causing trouble for the trading company?
It's possible my last recon made me kind of hesitant to actually cause trouble, but I figure maybe I can go in and get more information, maybe find a person who isn't a big fan of the commander. Maybe there's some way that we can use him to our advantage.
So you could use a large, gregarious, friendly local distraction?
I mean, I've got 2 of these potions left. Don't have to look like a large, gregarious thing. We could just look like random members of the GBC.
Not a bad idea.
That's why I wanted 3 of them. Once we use these 2, I'm out of them. But I don't think that contract's getting completed right now. I'll have to come back later, probably.
Let's go cause some havoc.
Here you go. I'll hand him one of my 2 remaining potions of disguise self, and we're gonna go stake out the GBC headquarters.
I want to be on that mission. That sounds fucking sweet.
Uh,
Can I switch mission, Suli?
Daruk is going to drink the potion, fixating, looking to Fiora actually right before the sip. I was thinking an outside authority figure might get people a little stirred up, let you pass a little more unseen. What do you think?
I think that can work. I guess there might be a way if I can find someone who has certain high aspirations within the organization that I might be able to leave a couple trails when we leave. So I just need to find someone who's kind of middling but looks like they might want to go further.
You want a brown noser. Beautiful. Keep your eyes on who walks up to me first. And I'm going to drink the potion, and I'm going to focus on the image of the lead inquisitor, or lead warden who came to join us.
I'm gonna drink my
one-
potion and turn into a random GBC member.
one-
into a random GBC member.
You're gonna look like the guy who's still in town, Daruk.
Yep.
Okay. Loki, I saw your hand pop up like you were in the front row of class wanting to ask questions. What you got going on, buddy?
I was gonna make this a question for them as if we were in group discussion, but they're good to go.
No, please. I'd love to hear.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Yeah, if anything, Loki would say go talk to our people in the mansion who might have connections to great healers.
People in the mansion.
I forget.
You know what?
The
That
battle
goldfish
place.
led us places. I bet he can do weird things.
Also worth investigating. I would vote, but that's all I would say.
That's true, but to get there, we have to go outside the city, so that might be something better for all of us for a leisurely stroll tomorrow, maybe?
We could split it up if you want an extra potion left, I suppose.
I don't think it's necessary.
Yes.
I think if we're already checking the plague place for a healer, we should see if that pans
Yeah,
out
we
first.
should let that pan out first. Yeah.
That being said, before we leave, we do have to go talk to Fred and claim our prize for that head that is in my bag and smells really bad.
We can go take care of that first. I think they'd notice the stench at the GDC.
So we didn't
Fiora
pick
and
our
I-
potions.
Yeah, Fiora and I are going to stop at Fred's first.
So you got to go outside the city for that anyway.
Oh, I thought Fred was in the market.
I don't think
No.
we can turn in the black lady's head in the middle of the market, Daruk. We would have to go to the mansion for that.
Yeah, that market is right outside the belfry where there's still, wardens and GBC folks working on things. And the GBC is also right next to the market. So I'm not sure how good of an idea it is to bring a chicken McNugget that's been left in the fryer too long type head to somebody in the middle of it. But I mean, your decisions, your choices. YOLO, I suppose.
It's your operation. You'll lead, Fiora.
I think leaving the city is just too, well, probably safe. Would still be better to wait till tomorrow.
Do you want to tuck the head away in my house for now?
I mean, I can also just leave it in my in-room, probably.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
I shouldn't need my bag. I'll just, if I can, I'll try to, pry a loose floorboard to make, a hidden cubby. I don't want to just leave it sitting on the bed, obviously. So I'll try to create some kind of hidden cubby under the bed or something to store it in.
Yeah, just give me a sleight of hand.
Can I get the help on this and a guidance?
Let's see what Fiora rolls first, and then I'll say yes or no. If it's good on the first roll, you won't need it, but
I am switching off of D&D Beyond for future rolls. It is taking 40 seconds for every roll.
no, go for it.
I mean, it's currently rolling, so rather than leave, I'll let this one go, but looks like it's probably going to be a 12.
I don't see anything yet. 12, yeah. Yeah, so if you want help, action, or guidance, by all means.
Yeah, give me 1 second to grab it.
He's going to get a help action, I think.
Yep. Clicky clacky math rocks.
Sad I couldn't find mine. I wanted to be clicky clacky.
Became a 14 instead.
Still just one. That's with guidance and help action.
Oh, I missed the guidance. That was only help. We turn it into an 18 with guidance.
Okay. So yeah, you're able to certainly pop a floorboard without ruining it with the tip of your dagger. And the floor, there's kind of that space in between the ceiling for downstairs and the floor where you're at, where the rafters and such are. There's no, blown in insulation or anything like that because it doesn't exist here, but there's the gap is there. And you could put the head bag in there if you wish. And shut it back down.
Yep, we'll do so. Then lock up my room, keep the key, and head back down to Daruk.
Yeah. Oh, well, Daruk, I think, was with you with the help action guidance,
Oh.
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah, we'll leave and we'll start making our way over to GBC and drink our potion on the way.
Okay, perfect. Let's start with
I'll-
team
With being
library.
a more, I'll just say, with being a more prominent figure, I'm going to drink the potion before I leave the inn.
Fair enough.
Yep, that's fair. Team library, what are you getting up to first? Like, what's your goal? I know you're doing medical research, but what specifically are you trying to find?
With Astrid coming along, I think Loki, being very familiar with research efforts, would assign a couple books to them to take a look at for arcane means of healing, if there are any specific spells or rituals that might be documented as a way to heal things like this. And I'm going to dig for herbs, alchemical solutions, things that could be made in place of magic.
Yeah, so it's not really history, but you could give me an arcana or just a regular intelligence. That would be okay. Or I would even say I would accept investigation since you're actively searching for something.
You got it.
Either both of you can roll because you're both looking for different things.
Yeah, 15 then.
Okay,
A
15 for
23
you. and
investigation.
23. Okay. So, Astrid, you find magical means. You find that you think the spell regenerate could work to fix the muscles and such in your shoulder. And Loki, you essentially find the same thing, but you find the regenerate potion ingredients list and so on.
At least it points to the same place.
Yes, but either option is not so easily procured.
Surely there's some way we could come across a spell scroll.
Well, there is a magic shop in town.
Don't think a discount, even for being heroes of the Belfry, would be deep enough, but might as well look. If not, we can find the ingredients, and I can see about learning to make it with Scrimmy.
True. But the possibility of scrolls like that already being used due to the plague.
Magic items are expensive. That means the people who sell them like to keep them in supply.
Loki, I'm going to give you an ingredients list if you would like.
Yes, please.
Because you do have a friend who can make potions.
Absolutely.
All right, give me just 1 second here and I'll tell you.
How are you feeling for the time, Astrid?
Are you talking physically or emotionally or mentally?
I can get out my notebook and we can talk all three. Don't have much of a track record for you.
I'll probably end up sending this whole list to you on Discord, but I'm going to go ahead and read it out to you as well for anybody else that wants to take notes. Okay.
Absolutely.
So you find not only with your 23, I'll say you find not only the ingredients for the potion, but you also find the step-by-step crafting process as well. So it's a list of 10 ingredients.
Oh, God.
You need, it says essence of healing herbs, example, mistletoe or aloe vera. And then there's a little note with it that says the herbs are known for their restorative properties, often used in healing potions. The second ingredient is dragon's blood resin.
Oh, God.
And the description for that is a potent ingredient from the blood of dragons, believed to enhance the vitality of the potion and imbue it with the magical healing properties. The next ingredient is a phoenix feather. Description symbolizing rebirth, regeneration. Phoenix feather adds extraordinary healing capabilities to the potion. Number 4, unicorn horn shavings. Rare and highly sought after, shavings from a unicorn horn are often associated with purity and healing magic. Item number 5, elven tears. Known for their magical properties, they are said to contain the essence of sorrow and healing, making them a power addition to any restorative potion. Number 6, a vial of spring water. Pure water from a sacred spring is often used because of its cleansing purposes. Number 7, powdered moonstone. Again, a description. I'll send it all to you on Discord. Number 8, blood of a regeneration creature. Example, troll blood. Using the blood of a creature that has natural regenerative properties can imbue the potion with similar powers. Number 9, a sprig of yarrow. And number 10, a drop of the caster's own blood. Description, personal sacrifice can enhance the potency of the potion, tying the magic to the caster's own life force. And then there's the entire crafting process: preparation, infusion, combining, incantation, cooling, and bottling.
What a nightmare of a side quest.
I don't think that's a nightmare. Some of those items are easily gotten.
That's a side arc.
But yeah, we can casually just buy a phoenix feather and find dragon's blood.
No,
I think
no,
I think we might just be better off waiting 9 episodes until Arthur can prepare regenerate.
whichever comes first.
I mean, to be fair, it'll probably take 9 episodes for me to actually.
I hope you have every ingredient but one when I learn that spell.
I love it's taken us 2 seasons to think about getting up to get to a point where we could consider going to get the magic leaves.
Well, let's take this hefty length of knowledge of a great challenge ahead of us to the magic store and hope the others are doing better.
Yes, let us hope. For the time being, I shall suffer a very painful shoulder.
I'm sure we can find some medication for it. And we can find a better sling for sure.
Yes, this one is a little bit crude, but effective.
Oh, no time to waste.
Oh, okay, D&D Beyond. For some reason, above VTT always kicks my Lysec map. I have no idea why. It just does.
It just doesn't like
It's tired of it.
I guess
seen
so.
this like 30 times.
It's just that one map. All right, well, we're back on the tavern map. Fuck it. Okay, so you guys leave the library after spending, I would say, probably that took you an hour and a half, 2 hours to find collectively all of that information. So you head out and you want to go to the magic store, you said?
Yeah, we can get to that after everyone else's stuff to not take up time for what they could be doing that could be an actual solution.
No, that's fine. I just want to make sure that's where you're headed to next.
Loki is. I won't drag Aster along if they don't want to.
Oh no, she's following you.
Okay.
So, Scrimmy and Arthur, you go over to the quarantine zone. You get to the newest section of the quarantine zone, which is hand-me-down town and all of that area. And you can go through there, no problem. And the Sparrow's Nest is where all of the people that are working on the cure for the plague are located, which is in the center of the newer quarantine zone, right up against the edge of the Lysac city walls where the old quarantine zone starts.
Okay. I think when we get there, I would look for any kind of administrative tenting or setup. And failing that, I would look for the biggest congregation of sick people that look like they're going somewhere with purpose.
So
Sorry.
you
go
don't
ahead.
see tents or anything like that where the sparrow's nest is. That's a nice big building. It's kind of looks like an abbey would look.
Okay.
The buildings outside of the church itself. It's like that kind of stone buildings. There's no church right there, but it's a stone built essentially hospital sort
And yeah,
of
I
building.
would I would go in there.
Yeah, you
Assuming
guys could go right in if you wanted to.
okay. Scrimmy, I don't know if you have any better ideas, but I think if we're going to find somebody who can fix up Celine, Astrid, Bruce Banner, whatever they're going by now, they're probably going to be in there.
I don't know. Possibly. I think we should also look for somebody with some magic properties. I was thinking about scouting the area, but we should definitely probably stick together.
Well, it's up to you. If you want to look around, see if you can find a powerful cleric or something, we could meet up somewhere, or you can tag along. I think we're safe for now. Knock on wood. He knocks on himself.
I think I'll probably just stick with you for now,
All right.
as long as it don't take too long.
Then yeah, we head into the sparrow's nest.
Yeah, and as a cleric yourself, you immediately realize that these are not clerics. There is nothing religious about them and their practices. When you walk in, it's set up very much like a MASH trauma, MASH trauma unit. You know, it's the different curtains
Love
put
that.
up. They've
There's a
turned
routine
turned
machine.
yeah, they've turned their study space into a makeshift hospital space, but you see some pretty gruesome things when you go in there. They're doing a lot of different experimenting and trial and error to try to figure out how to cure the plague. It smells absolutely putrid. It's the smell, like the sickly sweet smell of lingering death in the air, mixed with the smell of, I would say, for lack of a better term, gangrene, that sort of thing. It does not, and plus chemicals. And you see there are a couple different places where they have set up like a little chemistry station where they've got their bubbles and their beakers with bubbling liquids and different pieces of flesh and stuff. It's a mad scientist lab, 100%. Not clerics at all.
I love to imagine Scrimmy experiencing all of those rich, intense smells, and Arthur just completely dead to it because he doesn't have a sense of smell. I see anybody who looks shorthanded and busy in the middle of something?
It doesn't look like they're running around hustle and bustle, not like an actual trauma unit. They're more focused on the science aspect and the learning aspect, and they're all wearing those crow head plague doctor style outfits.
Okay. Scrimmy, it looks like all right, so this is like a research center, but maybe they can point us in the right direction. Excuse me, doctor, sir?
I don't think
Yes, and one of them's, they've got this long black robe, those creepy mad scientist rubber gloves that go up to the elbow, They're, forearm deep in the cavity of a dead body, and they just sort of turn their head over and look at you. Yes. Call me Dr. Squanch.
Dr. Squanch, great to meet you. I'm Arthur. This is Scrimmy. Uh, we're here with the Grey Wardens. We need a physician, somebody who can heal a grievous shoulder wound that our friend received in the line of duty. Maybe you could point us in the right direction?
Oh, ooh, a live specimen?
I kind of hesitate to say that. I don't like the way you said that just now. Anyone who maybe just sort of practiced at trauma, surgery, that sort of thing?
Well, all of us are pretty good at surgery. And he kind of looks around, and his colleagues are like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And they're all in various states of what looks like experimentations.
Okay.
Let's. I'm like, Scrimmy is like standing behind Arthur, gripping the back of his cloak right now. Kind of just slightly, very slowly tugging backwards and stepping out of the tent.
Yeah, I'll back up with you. You know what? Dr. Squanch, I love the cut of your jib. I love where your head's at, and I love the general vibe all of you are putting off right now. We'll probably be back. If our friend is up to this kind of treatment, we'll bring her right by. You guys can go nuts. But for now, and hopefully I'm like halfway out the door by now, and I'm just going to close it.
Yeah, and in one of the other ones will turn holding a handful of cadaver ligaments and what looks like a handsaw. I'm very capable of installing these.
Oh, yep. All right. Thank you. We'll call. And I'm going to close the door and start wandering the quarantine zone, I guess, looking for anyone practicing medicine. And Arthur was a field medic at one point, knows nothing about actual doctoring, but even he is like, fucking quacks. All right, let's see if we can find someone who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, so you go to start wandering the quarantine zone, and you quickly realize as you go through the wooden palisade there that now covers the quarantine zone from the main city, and there's like a gate and you can get through it. You realize that everybody attending people in the quarantine zone are all morbus
Just like
doctore.
Yeah. Okay. Fuck. Do I remember anyone? Do I remember how long this has been an issue for this outbreak?
I think you guys know that it's been happening since the Bauengrat family died, I believe, is what you know.
Okay.
Since the Red Morning, essentially.
I was gonna say, if I remember, it's been at least a couple decades, right?
Something like that.
Okay, so a long time. And looking around me, it looks like it's not getting any better, maybe worse. Can I actually, you know what? Can I find a site where one of these doctors is treating somebody and just kind of see what the fuck get a good look at what exactly these people are doing to these poor people?
Yeah, you can find the closest one to you, and there are little tents out here. There are tents out here, and one of them is kind of popped open, and you can hear the plague doctor talking, sort of muffled through their mask, and it seems they're just offering. They're giving a potion that's for maybe cough suppressant or something along the lines. It actually doesn't look like they're doing anything overly grotesque out here. This is where they test their experimental creations and such. So they're consistently feeding different potions and things to these people, trying everything they can do to cure this plague.
Okay, I'm just gonna make a note of the person that I see take the potion and where I am in the quarantine zone, and I would just like to come back tomorrow and check on them.
Yeah.
But for now, Scrimmy, I am all ears, I'm all little wooden holes in the side of my head where ears would go. Um, I think we're shit out of luck as far as finding a doctor here, or a cleric, even it seems.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'd still like to maybe do a check and see if there's any potions out here that they actually are onto with something. Maybe they have something that actually will work and isn't just an experiment. Maybe they were trying potions that actually were useful and practiced before they got into this nutty thing that they call medicine.
It's a nutty thing called love and medicine. All right,
Uh,
yeah.
And
What do you want?
are we still near that place where he was pouring potions in his mouth, in that guy's mouth? We haven't
Yeah,
left there yet?
you're all around. You're right towards the beginning. There's several tents where things like this are happening, and you see people that are in various stages of having the weeping pox. Um, the first stages are a person is subject to fever, causing sharpened senses, overexcitement, and then a sense of well-being, almost like a last hurrah sort of feeling. Um, After these symptoms, they'll transition into delirium, burning fever, insatiable thirst, weltering lesions, which is what gives the name the weeping pox. And then people in the final stages who are pushing on death's door after all of that. So there's various stages of this all around. Some
All right.
people, if you're, I assume you're listening and trying to figure out what you can.
Yeah.
You figure out overall that most people succumb to the pox in a few days, but some folks are very resilient and can hold out for up to 2 weeks.
Is there any, like, do I see any tents that might be holding like storage for like some treatments that like there's no patients inside of or anything like that?
No, all of their medicines are brought from the sparrow's nest where the Morbus Doctore make their base, essentially. The building you guys were in where Dr. Squanch was.
Got it. Yeah, so I'm gonna do a Arcana check here. I'm gonna walk up to one of the, maybe not directly up to, but I'm gonna walk up to one of the doctors that is administering medication and just kind of oversee and like do an Arcana check.
Yeah, you can absolutely do that. Just tell me what you got whenever you roll it.
It's a 21.
Okay. And you're doing an Arcana, but tell me what it is that you're looking for with this.
I'm kind of just trying to see like what alterations of spells that they're like, what they're doing to alter the spells to try and heal these people.
Yeah, so you kind of figure out that they've tried, and there's different as you kind of go around and see the different satchels of vials. You kind of look and you can see that some of them look like restoration potions, some of them look like healing potions, some of them look like antitoxins, things like that, and they're all sort of tweaked one way or another by adding an extra ingredient or doubling up on certain measurements and lowering others. It's just different variations of those main handful of potions. Also remove curse, they've tried those kind of potions as well. So they're trying all different kinds of things, but none of them really seem to be working.
And we don't see it with that 21. I don't see any medication out here that would be unaltered, do I?
No, pretty much at this point, as long as the weeping pox has been going on in Lysec, they're past the basic crafting of those potions and they're on to modified versions of them.
Okay. Arthur, I'm not seeing anything here. I think we should probably check somewhere else or head back and reconvey with our partners.
Yeah, no, fuck this place. I don't know what I was expecting, but it is depressing and unhelpful. Let's get out of here. And then, yeah, I guess we would go back to the tit and wait for everybody.
Okay.
We could go to the library, but I feel like that would just be a whole fucking problem.
So you just want to go back to the tavern then?
Yeah, unless Scrimmy has any other ideas, that's fine with me.
I mean, I feel like we've gotten as much as we can. The most I can do is see if there's any casters inside that main house we went into. If that's something you want me to try and do, I most definitely will. But from the likes of it, they were nut jobs.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it anyway. It seemed like they're medical doctors, but not really, kind of on the fringe of scientific whatever, delving.
Mental breakdown, yes.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think we should probably just head back.
All right, let's get out.
Yeah, they're definitely like an extreme sect of scientists in the medical field. The kind of people that end up doing too many experiments with cordyceps or too many blood modifications that cause viruses and things like that.
Yeah, and for the record, these guys seem dope as hell, and I do want to find out more about them. But yeah, Arthur's not a fan.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, so you go ahead and go back. Fiora and Daruk, you drink your potions and you head out. And Daruk, you make yourself look like the main warden, albeit much taller. And Fiora,
we got magic on our side. I look exactly the same height as him. It's just that there's 2 feet of invisible Daruk above the illusion.
Okay. And Fiora, you are just one random GBC individual.
Yeah, we'll probably stay female, so that my voice doesn't call into any question, but we'll change the hair to like brown. We'll make the skin super pale instead of tanned from time on the ocean kind of stuff.
Okay. So you're just going to stay similar but change
Yeah, my uniform will change to a GBC uniform, and like things about me will slightly shift so that I don't look I'm not recognizable as Fiora, but it's nothing like super specific or standout.
Yeah, that's fair. So your clothing, armor, weapons, and equipment are altered. Your physical dimensions can be either skinnier or chubbier, but only taller or shorter by a foot. And it cannot change your race, but it can make the gender appear different.
Wait, I thought disguise self could change race.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No.
Good to know. Guess you're just turning into a random Furbolg member of the GBC or the Warden.
I'm not. I'm looking at the spell. I'm not seeing that. The thing about race.
Yeah, I just pulled up the spell itself. It says
you make yourself including
your clothing, armor, weapons on your person look different. You can seem 1 foot shorter or taller and appear thin or fat or in between. You can change your body type. You can't change your body type, so you must adopt a form that has the same basic arrangement of limbs. Otherwise, the extent of the illusion is up to you. Which, that's fine. It's just not going to be like you're 8 foot tall and he's 5'7", 5'8".
7'2", I think, for Daruk.
Yeah, so you're a good, foot and a half taller than him. So you are still going to be just a little bit taller.
Okay. Well, I think if it's not possible, 7-6. I think if it's not possible to appear as this guy, then I think actually Daruk will show up as himself. He's enough of a outside authority figure and well known enough in the town to cause a stink.
Yeah,
That's
you
fair.
came with the warden last time he was here. You're known
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, so you head over towards the GBC. Fiora, what's your sort of plan of action here? What exactly are you looking to do?
I am going to walk in and sit at a table and watch to see anyone who looks discontent, or like Daruk mentioned, maybe the person who comes up to talk to him right away, to see
Okay.
if there's someone that seems like maybe they don't like management currently.
Yeah, so the way
We're
this
looking-
building...
We're looking for an employee with a grudge or a brown noser.
Yeah, so the way the main building is set up, it's sort of think like a longhouse. There's at the opposite end, there's like the desks and such where a dais would be at the longhouse. But in this, there's like the fire pit down the middle and tables on the side of the fire pit, and they keep their goods and things are stored in the outlying buildings, and there's barracks out there. But this is sort of their common hall where people come and do contracts and such with them. But those desks are in the back. There's 2 desks back there. There's one for employees, and then there's one for customers. I don't think anybody really gets up and comes directly to you. It's sort of going towards lunchtime at this point. A lot of them are sitting around, and it's a business. It's daytime. People come in and out of the business regularly. So they kind of expect that if you have business with them, you'll go to where you need, or you're just coming in to have lunch with somebody. That's a possibility as well. They have sort of like a common house. You could order food or drink here, though they tend to mostly go to the King's Coin for that. But there are some people that are just having hot brown and plenty of it, stew and bread here.
I also apologize. I always forget that Fiora is peak at information gathering. So when she sits at the table, she's going to cast Detect Thoughts. And she's not prying into anyone. She's just listening to surface level thoughts to see if there's anyone with discontent.
You hear some people are a little grumpy, but it doesn't seem that they're grumpy directly at the person themselves, their commander themselves, but they're just grumpy because they've been working a lot. But you don't hear right off the bat, just on the surface, anything that stands out over the top for disgruntlement that you're looking for. There are a couple of people that seem to have the surface thoughts of just 1 or 2 more trips, and then I could see about advancing. You hear a couple of sort of cadets, so to speak, with those kind of thoughts, but nobody in the middle management area.
Any of the cadets seem like they're not in a group, maybe sitting by themselves?
Just one.
I'll approach that guy while Daruk does his stuff.
He's fairly small in stature, has kind of chicken noodle soup arms, not big, bulky, muscular ones. He doesn't wear the normal sort of leathers and such, but he wears more of like a robely attire. And he does have a little bit of like a leather jacket, but not the armor, right? And he's got a pair of spectacles, and he seems to be copying things from one book into another book. And if you're still detecting thoughts on him, he's doing number crunching.
She'll just, making noise, pull out the chair so that he knows she's here. She'll just say, another dollar, another copper, am I right?
Yeah, I'm trying to... There's some discrepancies, and I'm trying to figure out where the mistakes were made.
Discrepancies, you say? What do you mean?
Yeah, Everything looked good, but I really love numbers, and I just happened to skim over the book the other day, and I shouldn't have been. I really shouldn't have been, but I just happened to see it over my commander's shoulder, and some of the numbers didn't add up. So I asked if I could look at it, and he was a little angry, but the other commander said that I could. So I'm just trying to figure out why some of these numbers don't add up to what they should, with these other numbers representing what they do.
It's odd. Kind of weird that your commander who was in charge of the books would be upset at you wanting to look at them. What was his name?
Oh, heavens. What is his name? Well, don't judge me, but I just call him Commander Angry Pants.
No judgment here, friend. Don't worry about it.
Really grumpy.
Well, shoot, if people are skimming off the books, might be better to get out sooner than later.
Yeah, I don't know if somebody's skimming. Maybe they just forgot to carry the one. But that's why I'm going through the books.
Well, if you have any questions or want anything, I've got a room on retainer over at the Pig's Tit. I'd be more than happy to talk to you later if you need help looking through the books or anything. Anything you need.
Oh, that's very nice of you. What's your name, friend?
When you get there, you can just ask for double-checking notes, and I don't think it's in here. You can ask for Alindra.
Oh, nice to meet you. My name is Fairless Bugler.
Well, Ferris, I don't know.
Fairless. Not Ferris, Fairless.
I'm sorry, Fairless. I've only just met you, but from what I can tell, it seems like you got a better head on your shoulders than most of our management here.
Well, that's very nice of you to say, but don't say it too loud, because Commander Angry Pants is very angry.
I guess we'll just have to talk more at the tit later tonight then.
As long as it's not after my curfew.
I mean, you can stop by whenever you want. I'll be there for a few days.
My mother prefers that I'm home before 8 p.m. because she likes to have tea and conversation time before she goes to bed.
Well, all right. Why don't you come over and we can talk about Commander Angry Pants over dinner?
Okay, but as long as I'm home by 8 p.m.
Anything you say, Fayless. Anything you say. And she'll just get up and slide the chair in. She'll do like a little sleight of hand signal to Daruk that she's walking out in case he doesn't know it's her. I don't know what he's gotten into during this time either.
Yep, I was just going to ask. Daruk, what do you think it is that you do while Fiora talks to Fairless Bugler?
Daruk's plan was to walk inside and, all right, I'm here from the wardens to look over the distribution of the aid we brought.
Oh, yeah, they took care of all that earlier. I believe his name was Loki. Did the paperwork for all of that.
Wonderful. I'm here to check it over and make sure everything was filled out properly. I'll need your books on it.
I think you can get. I think they're still working on some of it out in the warehouse, and this is just a random person at a table when you walk in and say this. I think they're out in the warehouse still. They distributed a bunch earlier, but they're still working through the building supplies.
Okay, and
what?
And what are you going to do to let me do my job?
I'm gonna sit here and finish my lunch break. That's what I'm gonna do. But you're more than welcome to walk out there to the warehouse if you want. Just out the door and around the corner. You can't miss it. Looks like a barn, got big wide open doors, carts sitting there full of construction supplies. You probably passed it on your way and didn't even notice. But the GBC union says I still have 45 minutes left of my lunch break, that I have no work that I have to do during it. And he goes back to shoving stew and bread in his mouth.
Gotta respect the union, man. And I'm going to go up to the next person I spot who does not look like they're actively on their lunch break. And Druk's just going to repeat this process until someone says, okay, I'll take you out to the warehouse.
Yeah, I think the only person that actively does that, because it is lunchtime and a majority of everybody's on their lunch break, is Fairless Bugler. He's the only one with no backbone that would get up and go do that, because he's working during his lunch anyways. And he'll pack up the books and grab them in his arms, and they almost look too big. There's two of them. They almost look too big for him to hold together, and he scrambles out the door to the warehouse out there, where they're still kind of working through moving construction supplies around and figuring out what they're taking to the job site come Monday when they start reconstruction and so on, because they don't need to take everything all at once.
All right. Mr. Bugler, could you point me towards where the records are kept for distribution?
They have all of the stuff for this stuff over there.
Wonderful. Why don't you lead me over there and show it to me then?
He took you already all the way out there where the guy with the clipboard is and the people who are moving stuff.
Yeah. At this point, Daruk is just doing the whole, well, I came in all officious and assholey, so I have to stay officious and assholey until I leave.
Yeah, he points you to the guy with the clipboard and scrambles off, and you hear, man, 2 Captain Angry Pantses in one day.
It's Private Angry Pants, actually, Mr. Bugler.
Yeah, he's gone like lightning.
Kids these days. And I guess start to try to go over the books with the guy who has the clipboard.
Yeah, and you look at him, and it's everything is signed off by Loki, how he did this morning. Well, the morning before when it came in. So there's kind of like sorting things out by cart, day 1, day 2, day 3, different stages of construction. All of the distribution seems to be done. There's a stack of stuff that they couldn't deliver or was left over, all accounted for. Everything on paperwork is in order.
Okay.
You see Loki's excellent non-criminal signature on all of the paperwork.
Yeah, I just want to look. I think Daruk is looking closely, guides himself, and wants to make sure that there's no places where like Loki's numbers were written over by somebody else. Like nothing was changed after Loki signed it.
Yeah, nothing on any of the paperwork that Loki did is changed at all. It's just the new stuff where they're kind of like assigning supplies for each day is different. Obviously, Loki hasn't been back to sign off on that, but aside from just the new stuff, the new kind of construction planning sort of paperwork.
And yeah, I think Daruk spends the rest of his afternoon here helping out and making sure that everything is still basically doing what Loki did yesterday, making sure the construction stuff goes to the right place.
Yeah, and your potion lasts for what, an hour?
I'm not disguised.
Oh, you didn't disguise. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We realized that I couldn't be the captain, so I was like, yeah, Daruk is well known enough and is a warden. It makes sense for him to show up and be like, hey, I'm checking shit out.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're able to do that. You spend the rest of the afternoon checking out paperwork. Everything's in order. Again, the GBC has a fairly good reputation for doing the things they say they're going to do, nothing more, nothing less. Fiora is a pirate, so has a personal vendetta against the East India. Fiora is Jack Sparrow. GBC is East India Trading Company.
Accurate.
They got you. Aside
I
from
gotta
that,
say that doesn't. I was gonna say that doesn't endear the the GBC to me any.
they're fairly straight and narrow. Their paperwork's always in order. That's why they have a good reputation. They're decent people. They do what they're supposed to do. They don't price gouge. They stay in the market, competitive, but at a good rate, not at overpriced sort of thing. So you do that. You spend the afternoon. How many hours do you think you spend?
Till the work is done for the day.
They'll work till right around dinner time, where they'll go and be done. So
Yeah.
probably like 5, 6-ish.
I think Daruk throws himself into the work with full passion, and yeah, Daruk is looking for any reason not to be home while his family's awake.
That's fair. All right, yeah. So everybody has pretty much accomplished everything that you wanted to do. We're going to do a little off-screen time skip. So next session, you'll be able to be on your way out of LISEC on your other things. So, all right, good stuff. That's where we're going to cut it. We're going to call it, wrap it, all that stuff. Thanks for hanging out. For those of you that are in the audience, we appreciate you. We're going to run a raid out to one of our friends. I'm not sure which one yet, but I'll let you know when we get there. Stick around and check out our outro video. It has all of the information about all of the shows that we have playing on our channel. We've got the Tales from the Yawning Portal game on Thursdays, run by Don. We do not play this week, Friday, Echoes of Eden, but we will be back with that next week, GM'd by Chip. We've got Sumercola Stories on Saturday, and then, of course, here, Delirium on Monday. So we'll see everybody hopefully at one of the other shows this week. If not, next week, Monday. Goodbye and good night and all that fancy stuff. Whatever they say. Stay classy, San Diego, or whatever Rock Burgundy said. All right, buttons.